Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I'm here today to do another Blender tutorial, and this morning we are going to look at the Array modifier in Blender. So normally we would actually delete the cube, but today we're actually going to use it to go through the Array modifier. So in our Properties tab, we're going to come over here to the Modifier Properties, Add Modifier, and it is in the Generate list, so Array. Now, as you can see, it's at putting in a rectangle over our cube, but no, we haven't set an offset distance here, but we'll go through that. Fixed count is basically you're looking at, let's say, the number of cubes you want to array across. So if I increase that to 3 and 4, it will add more cubes as we go. And just to give them a little bit of a distance, you can look at here, the relative offset, so the offset between each one of these cubes. So if we increase that, you can to 1.1, 1.2, you can now see that there's a little bit of a gap appearing between each one of the cubes. You can also offset them this way as well, and then increase the count as they go across. You can really kind of arrange these in whatever way you want. So if I go back to 1, maybe 1. We'll go 1.5 and bring this back to 0. Now, using fit count, you can actually stack multiple arrays on top of each other. So if we just close off our first array, this is our second array, we can start looking at maybe putting them in the Y direction as well. And might increase that just a little bit more. So we'll go to 2. So very quickly, you can start creating a load of different blocks very quickly instead of duplicating them and making sure that they are aligned. You can start looking at this is a very easy way to create those sort of multiple meshes very quickly, and then you can obviously offset them in the Z and the X and the Y direction as well. So if you were looking to maybe create like a large stairs and maybe even a pyramid, this would be a very good way in creating a very quick scene very quickly. Now, you might be wondering what array could be used for, and I'm going to show you. This is a scene that I created as an example, and believe it or not, there's only 4 or 5 objects that I created in this scene, and the rest are just arrayed out. So if I do it, I try to recreate maybe a little pillar columned building in Egypt. But as you can see, we've pillars, we have a tiled floor, and such. So there's actually only one pillar that I modeled. There's only one tile that I modeled, and then there's this sort of a plinth roof and a wall. And that's what array is good for. So like if I show you here, if I click on this tile, you can see that they're actually just one object that's been arrayed out twice. So I've arrayed it in the X and the Y direction, and we can change that. So if I bring that down, back, you can very quickly create a tile floor, and then maybe put a texture on it. It's done then. Same thing that way. Next, the pillars. If I bring this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the pillars, again, they're just arrayed in the X and Y. There's only one pillar. If I turn these off, sorry, there's 2 pillars that I've just arrayed in that direction. So it's very quickly you can create a scene. If you just create 1 or 2 objects and array them out, you'll be able to create the scenes or models very quickly that way. And this is the final render that I did of that kind of Egyptian tomb thing. But you see, very quickly, you have a tiled floor, some pillars, plinth, roof, all just made out of 6 objects. And that's why like learning modifiers and stuff is important, because it makes your work much quicker. And if you change it, if you change the original um, model, it will reflect it on the rest. So if you start adding, let's say, uh, lanterns to each one of these columns that is within the original model, then they will show up as well. But yeah, so that's the end of this YouTube tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.